everybody. We are back for part 2 of S.O.D. Stormtroopers of Death. Bigger than the devil. Alright, so you got that cool knock-up that does the single for Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast, and then you've also got Bigger Than the Devil, which is a play off of when, you know, the Beatles said bigger than Jesus. Well, John Lennon specifically said bigger than Jesus. So that's fun that way. Alright, so I already covered their first album, which I don't remember the name of, and I've moved it so it's not in front of me. This one is their second album. I don't know. And I don't know if Drew has Rise of the Infidels, which was their next and last album. I like the sound quality on this one better. Years later, so production, you know, definitely improved, was better. Track listing for track listing? I think the first album was more interesting. There was definitely a little more diversity to it. And sorry, I'm trying to see if I can bring up the title of it here, and it's not coming up. There was more diversity to, I think, the first album. The humor was definitely a lot more relevant. But the overall production on this one was better. Also, see if I can replicate. Okay, so I don't like vocals when they get like that, and they got pretty close to that, okay? Hopefully the microphone picked that up somewhat. So I can deal without that. I mentioned in the previous S.O.D. video that my feeling towards blast beats and so that still applies here, okay? Everything I basically said on the first album kind of applies to this album as far as the music itself goes. There are some songs on here where I really think that if, you know, they were worked into more commercially viable songs, would be much more commercially viable songs. 25 tracks on this one. This is not the special edition that has the single on here. 25 tracks on here, 2 of which are throwaways. Okay. The album's up with Bigger Than the Devil, which it's alright, I guess. Crackhead Song is alright, I guess. Kill the Assholes is alright, I guess. Monkeys Rule, alright, I guess. School Bus was the first one that kind of had me look up for a minute and go, what? And I went, yeah, no. Okay, King at the King / Evil is In is really kind of a fun one. This is definitely more of that True Blue kind of comedy vibe, I think, from their previous album. Without just being stupidly offensive, like actually, you know, having some fun with the lyrics. Sometimes all you want is Whopper. Black War, I paid a little bit of attention to. Celtic Frosted Flakes. Okay, this one. Yeah. Charlie Don't Cheat. I like the tagline at the end. Can't ever play this one live. The song that Don't Go Fast, meh. This is where the album actually starts to pick up for me, and I notice the riffs a little more, and a lot more of the, if you just slightly tweaked a few things, I think it would have been better. Shenanigans, I think, is a great song, except for the blast beats in it. I think Shenanigans definitely could have been worked into a much better tune. Dog on the Tracks, I didn't notice it as it went by. Xerox, same thing. Make Room, I actually really enjoyed, but it's another one where I think it needed a little bit, just a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of work to it. Free Dirty Needles, Fugu, what's that? Or Noise, that's what. Fugu, I didn't even notice, and Noise, that's what I didn't notice. We All Bleed Red, I thought this one was really good. This one, slight tweaking, but otherwise really, really good tune. Frankenstein and His Horse, I was disappointed by this. I was really, when I read that title, I was hoping for something really, really cool, and it was like, you know, it was as useful as, farting on a snare drum. Every Tiny Molecule, I would rework it a little bit, but I really enjoyed it. I did. I really enjoyed Every Tiny Molecule. Another one that felt like the humor was there just the right way. Aren't You Hungry? No, I'm not hungry, and I don't want seconds of this one. I want to call it Latch. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be Latch or if it's Latkch. Throwaway. All right, Ballad of Michael H. This is like Ballad of Jimi Hendrix from the first album, which is to say they play a popular riff and then go, "You're dead" at the end. In the case of Jimi Hendrix, I don't mind due to the ODing. In the case of Michael Hutchinson, which is Michael H., I don't care due to it being self-inflicted. Then they do it one more time. They do the Ballad of Phil H. They throw in the Simpsons riff and go, "You're dead." This is obviously directed towards Phil Hartman. This one I think is in bad taste because of the way that Phil Hartman died. So that, not cool with. Moment of Truth finishes out the album, and it's kind of like, all right, I guess. Now, this was produced by Tim Gillis, and S.O.D, mixed by Vincent Wojno and S.O.D. Okay, so Shenanigans, Make Room, We All Bleed Red, Every Tiny Molecule, those four particular songs, I really think if I had been working as the producer on this album, I would have left this part of the album as is, but I would have done those four songs specifically, redone them, and I would have worked on them a little bit, taken out the blast beat shit, whether it be on the verses or the choruses or whatnot, maybe extended them a little bit, given them a little bit more play, a little more room to breathe, and I think they could have been fantastic songs. The first album I listened to once, that was enough. This one I listened to twice, that's enough. The first time I listened to it, I was doing some chores around the house, so I missed a few songs in the middle. So some of these songs I've given a couple playthroughs, some of the songs I've really given one playthrough, and that's it. For the most part, everything I said on the first album for my first review for S.O.D. really applies to the second one. There's another one. It's another mock-up of Iron Maiden single. I don't remember which single that is. And it might be an alternate for a Number of the Beast, somewhere around there. If you're a completionist, you know, all that other fun stuff, pick it up. If you're into this, definitely to me would, because of how much more this gets into the blast beats, I find definitely more grindcore-y than the other ones. This one definitely could be considered a grindcore album, not even a precursor to grindcore, but like true, like maybe like early grindcore. It really has that kind of vibe to it, the whole sound, everything about it, at least on my limited knowledge of grindcore. I don't want to call it thrash. There is that thrash element to it, but it does. This one feels a lot less thrash than the first album did. It's got the humor to it in the lyrics still, you know. Some of the songs, you know, they got that whimsy that's there. But between this one and the first one, like I said, I think I prefer most of the song selection on the first one over this one. But the production, mixing, and sound on this one is way better. Way better. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that one, man. I'll find out if Drew has the third album or not. If Drew has the third album, I'll do a review for it. You know, it was interesting enough of an adventure to go through and do the third album. If he doesn't have the third album, I'm not doing it. Unless you want to send me a copy, which that could be arranged. Tracy and I have talked about getting a P.O. box, so that might be a thing that's coming. And outside of that, I think that that's it for now for S.O.D. You know, let me know what you think, guys. Drop me a line in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications. You know, all the usual stuff. There's a couple links worth checking out. S.O.D. and me. This is what I thought of thee. Peace, love, take care.